Hi, I'm Extraayogurt and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not new, then welcome back. And today we will be building a grocery store. And of course, as you can see, we're back in Sunwater, and this will be the second community lot in this neighborhood. I feel like I'm always building grocery stores in this game, whether I upload them or not. So I'm guessing that this might be one of my favorite things to build, and I think it's because the items that you need for a grocery store are so straightforward that it makes it super simple for me to furnish. I would have to say probably my weakest skill in this game would be furnishing and decorating. It's taken me so long and so many different tries to kind of get more comfortable with it. But in general, I definitely prefer just building and you know, the windows and doors and the landscaping and things like that. But I really like how this build came out. It's strange because we take up a lot of space on this lot, but the actual interior of the store it's really not that big. It's a lot of kind of filler and decorative aspects, but mostly, you know, the produce section and a bunch of fridges and 2 cash registers. But yeah, I feel like this build really didn't need too much. I'm trying to scale back a bit and think about what the Sims will actually find useful for this neighborhood in particular. So yeah, it's actually really funny that I said that while having a giant non-functional parking lot in front of the building. But I don't know why I started doing that or when, but it almost feels unusual if I don't add a parking lot to my community lot, and I don't know why that is. I mean, the Sims can't use it. It does look cool. It adds something nice, especially from the neighborhood view, but yeah, anyway, I also wanted to mention that I'm thinking that this may be the last video that I use this kind of format for. I find that I've grown really tired of using the same kind of format, even though you know it's simple and it works. I kind of want to do something a little bit different and be able to talk with you guys more about the build, kind of each step of the way, rather than just voicing over a really long speed build. I like I've said before, I really enjoy super long content like this, but I can definitely see this being not so interesting after a while. But yeah, I'm gonna figure something out and try to just talk with you guys more and walk through the builds instead. And I feel like that'll be a lot more fun. But yeah, so as you guys could see, I chose to use that white brick half fence to do some lattice work at the entrance. And yeah, as you can see, I start with the roof like this, but I do end up changing it quite a bit, just because, I don't know, the roofing when you're working with greenhouses can be really weird, and it's not something I do often, so I had to kind of figure out a better way to balance that out. And I felt like having a completely flat roof just didn't look good, so I wanted to add some elevation, and then the greenhouse roof was not like blending with it the way that I wanted it to. But you guys will see as we go on what I kind of end up doing with that. Yeah, so I also feel like this build went very smoothly and very relatively quickly compared to a lot of my other furnished builds. But there is a part where I think I spent a full hour just on the walls and floors. And I don't know why that seems to be the most difficult part for me when it comes to builds these days. I'm not really sure. I know not using any CC is a big part of it, because there's certain wall coverings that I really want, but I just don't have to work with. So But yeah. So as you guys can see, I started with this really cool like dark siding, and kind of did a mix of concrete and stone and everything. And although this looked really nice, I did end up changing it to something lighter. I really liked how it looked, but for some reason it was not looking how I wanted it to. I think it was giving a little bit too trend. I don't want to say trendy, but maybe too modern, or just not like a neighborhood grocery store kind of vibe. So I ended up changing that and kind of brightening everything up with some lighter colors, mostly gray, but yeah, I did really like how that siding looked, and maybe I'll use it for a different building in the neighborhood. But yeah, so the greenhouse roof, as you guys can see, I went from doing it with one peak, I forget what it's called, with one peak, but instead doing 3 separate roofs, so that way I could turn it to the side of the lot rather than have it pointing straight ahead. And the reason I did that was because it wasn't going to be the same width as the other roof that I have on the other end of the building. I don't know if that makes sense, but it was really going to bother me if they couldn't be the same width, and I didn't want to make the greenhouse any wider than what it was. And that might sound really confusing, but hopefully you guys know what I mean. But anyway, so this is the kind of exterior that I decided on. This kind of really light gray stone, super white stucco, concrete, and this dark gray stone. Yeah, I mean, pretty straightforward. All the accent colors are white, and gray is just really easy for me to work with when it comes to doing these community lots. All right, so you guys will see that I've added a few pieces of fencing here to kind of guide the sim into the grocery store. I've seen this a lot actually, stores kind of using this method to keep people from using the entrance door as an exit and vice versa. So I thought that would be cool to incorporate that here. So yeah, your sims enter on the right side, ideally. Obviously they're not going to, but and they walk through the produce section and out into the kind of open fridge and cash register area. And I made sure not to forget to add a few bathrooms, even though there's only 2. Sometimes I just forget to add it all together, which is really annoying afterward, but I added them off in the corner there behind those fridges. And yeah, as you guys can see, it is a very kind of tight space to work with, and I think this is one of those kind of downfalls I have from building humongous lots all the time, is trying to make sure I have space for everything just with the way that I build. Especially, sorry guys, my cat is like scratching at my door right now. Anyway, especially because of my use of columns everywhere. But I literally can't live without my columns. I cannot build without them, so. Really quickly, I wanted to mention that I chose to place all of the shelving and fridges and checkout lanes first before any floor coverings, because whenever I'm building a grocery store, I kind of like to build the floor covering around the shelving, because the shelves and fridges are kind of the focal point of the whole build. So you guys will see what I mean. But for example, I like to place this rubber floor tile under each of the produce shelves. I think it gives it a nice kind of polished look. And I also incorporate a little bit of a kind kind of different colored walkway throughout the entire store. Also, when it comes to like the grocery store items, they're very bulky, and I just wanted to make sure the flow of everything was just right. But yeah, and then working a bit on the nursery here, I just added a few simple product shelves and a few walls where I could place some different items, outdoor related items. Not really any rhyme or reason to it, just placing things where I felt like it wouldn't be too crowded, and that I thought they would have some good visibility. So here I am kind of trying to design the floor tiles now, and I love to go with a good linoleum in a grocery store, sometimes stone, sometimes tile, but I think I did settle on linoleum for this build. Actually, no, I end up changing it to stone and linoleum. So anyway, I'm using this half fence to draw out a little bit of a walkway design. I really love using a mix of different coverings all the time. I feel like I can never just decide on one or two. I feel like a lot of the times your wall coverings and floor coverings can do so much of the heavy lifting when it comes to decorating and kind of creating a mood in your build. So yeah, I'm not really sure why I went about it the way I did, because now, as you can see, this is me making sure I deleted all of the half fencing that I placed because it was really hard to see. Everything was blending in together. But anyway, moving on to the second floor, specifically the like wall decorations. I complain about this space a lot, yet I keep adding it to my builds because I just really like the look of like a 2-story open concept kind of store. I feel like it's very, it's just like real life. It's pretty much what you always see, but decorating that second story just always gives me such a hard time when I don't have any CC to work with. So I'm trying all kinds of different things and really just kind of overcomplicating it. When you observe just, grocery stores in real life, most of the time you will see that they don't really decorate the upper walls. At most you'll see like a really simple like abstract wallpaper or painting, or something that says dairy or seafood and stuff like that. Just really simple. For some reason that looks really good in real life, but in my builds I don't like anything that's too simple. I just want your eye to catch something when you're looking at the build as a whole. So okay, so what I decided to do was add a bunch of fencing, remove the floor tiles from those sections that are hanging over the fridges, and I used these silver stars to try to create a design of some sort. And if you noticed, I added a silver star to the sign on the outside of the building because I wanted it to be cohesive somehow. I didn't want just like random stars that didn't make sense. I wanted it to be like, oh, okay, this is part of the branding of the store. At first I have them stacked up on top of each other like this, and for some reason I didn't love that, and I end up deleting a lot of them. But for some reason this is making me think of Texas a lot, like the stars and the fencing, and I don't know, it was just looking a bit too Texas for me. Nothing against Texas, nothing's wrong with Texas, but actually I used to live in Texas for a while. But anyway, so here I am just adding 1,000,001 stars, and let's see, soon I'm gonna delete a bunch here and it's gonna look a lot better. Sometimes less is definitely more. Actually, I feel like most of the time less is more, and I'm just trying to clutter my builds too much. So there I am, just sledgehammering everything, and I think that looks so much better. Yeah, so here's where I start going through the catalog like crazy, trying to find just the perfect wall covering to start on the inside. And I just go through so many different ones. It's these big blank spaces of wall that really throw me for a loop. But at first I'm trying tile, which wasn't a bad idea actually. I think tile would have looked really good, but for some reason I guess I just didn't like it. I think I end up going with this IKEA wallpaper. I really liked how this bright orange tile looked, but I don't think it fit the vibe of just what I was trying to go for this building. So yeah, I always say I can spend an eternity on wall coverings, and I mean the game gives us a lot of great options. For some reason, not a single one was appealing to me at this point, but I do start with some very like cool tones. Oh my gosh, this just goes on and on. I'm so sorry guys. I'm like I speed up my videos times 7, so I mean if I spent an hour on this, it would only be just a few minutes in this video. Okay, so yes, I do decide on this kind of bamboo wallpaper that came with the IKEA pack, and I used it in the paste tone, and then I was trying to kind of match up the rest of the wall coverings with that super cool tone, and it just ends up looking way too stark white, way too cold, and you guys will see. Okay, so here's another element that I end up getting rid of. I think I was doing entirely too much here in this little corner. I thought I might try to add plants here and ivy and stuff. And although it doesn't look awful, it does not go with the rest of the store. So I add all of this and I end up deleting it all, which is totally fine. Sometimes in order to figure out what you really want, you have to do a bunch of stuff that you end up hating. So anyway, as you can see, I went with the just plain white wall coverings and gray brick to try to match that that IKEA wallpaper that I showed you guys earlier. And not that it looks awful, but there's just no warmth in the space. It feels so cold and not very lively. Like that's just, I did not like this at all. Not terrible, just not what I was going for. So I chose the Beachy Keen variation of the same IKEA wallpaper. I changed all of the white walls to the Beachy Keen color, and I changed the gray brick to the tan brick. And just like that, guys, I mean, look at that. That has completely transformed the look and feel of the whole interior. And then I changed the linoleum on the floor as well. I keep the dark gray one and I change the light gray one to this, let's see, this stone. It's like a speckled dark gray stone. Everything about this, it just looks so much better. It just looks so much warmer. And then of course, as always, I paint the ceiling a little bit later on in the video. So here are my checkout lanes. There, I went ahead and used some random open for business shelves to kind of mimic the belt that you place your items on. And I just put a counter next to it. I think that's what I typically do to make those little checkout lanes. Nothing special. But yeah, it was at this point I finally started to really like how things were looking. And then of course, again, I'm trying to figure out what to put on this wall, going through different mirrors. And I actually ended up asking my sister for her opinion, and she helped me out and suggested that I just put some windows so that you can kind of see into the nursery area. And I mean, it was a great idea. She was absolutely right. I think that was the perfect move. And here I was kind of like, which window? This one, that one? She's like, what about something kind of in between? It's not too tall, not too short. And yeah, I really like how that came out. So that added a lot of nice natural light into the store. For some reason, guys, I'm not sure what I did wrong. Probably while I was downloading a camera mod and switching files around, I like broke my ceiling view button. So now whenever I paint the ceilings, it's a lot harder. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. But I went with this gray wood covering to do the ceilings. Not the first thing I would have chosen, but surprisingly works perfectly for the space. And then there's this edge on the roof that sticks into the ceiling on the inside that just drives me insane, but there wasn't a lot I could do about it, so we'll just have to deal with that and not look at it too hard. But I went ahead and took out all that stuff and replaced it with just a regular ceiling light, which looks so much better to me, makes a lot more sense. I mean, my favorite part of decorating is always lighting. It's always going to be lighting. It just changes the entire look of your build. And I mean, if I could have one thing, it would be that if I place a light on the second floor and there's no flooring beneath it, that the light will shine through to the first floor. That would be really nice. But of course, I've always been able to find little ways around it, and you guys will see. What I usually do is just place some floor tiles and make sure they're kind of connected to a wall, so it looks like they are structurally stable. As you can see here, I added some floor tiles, and I'm just gonna like jazz them up to look a little bit more than just random floor tiles floating in the air. And from that is where I like to hang the ceiling lights. Sorry, I'm talking a bit slow. I'm just like waiting for myself to actually do what I'm talking about doing. So this is another reason why I was saying this may be the last time I use this video format, because I always end up in this situation where I'm ready to talk about something and I'm just waiting until I actually do the thing in the video. So bear with me, guys. I'm still learning every day a little bit more how to make a decent video. So anyway, on to the outdoor lighting. I added a few lights on the roof, and of course lots of lights above the sign. yeah, and here we are with our 2 bathrooms. Okay, so for the bathrooms, I made the mistake of using those men and women's doors because I feel like those are a lot better used for bathrooms where you're putting stalls. Because I put them on these bathrooms that only have 1 toilet, it's like all the Sims were trying to get in there while my Sim was trying to use the bathroom. So I apologize for that. I should have fixed that, but now I know for next time. Oh yes, and of course I play tested this lot. Everything works fine. The bathroom thing is kind of more of an annoyance thing than a functional problem, but and then I was just looking for a little bit of artwork, not too much, just something to put there and brighten up the space. And then I added a little exit sign, and somewhere later on I add some floor signs. Oh, here. So yeah, and we're pretty much wrapping up the main part of the grocery store at this point. Alright, so now I've added all of the plants and outdoor items to the nursery. Like I said, you know, if your Sim purchases this lot and owns it as a business, they can place those things for sale. Otherwise, it's just kind of for looks, and I'm completely fine with that. I think it looks really nice, especially because you can see clear through the walls of the nursery. So I'm just going ahead and adding some parking lot lighting now and some of those lighting posts in front of the windows and the front door. And what's really annoying is I always use move objects on to add that extra bit of sidewalk and street so that it connects with the actual road. But when you download it, that little part is going to disappear and it will just be like a bald spot of grass. So I'm sorry about that. I need to take that more into consideration, but I guess for now it is just for the pictures. But here we are at the cinematic shots, and super cute. I hope you guys really like it. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot to say about this build. It is CC free as always for Sunwater, and I hope you guys like it. If you actually download it and use it in your game, please let me know if there's any issues. Otherwise, thanks for hanging out with me again, and hopefully the next video I will have figured out a better format for these builds. But yeah, I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching, and bye-bye.